At the victory celebration following the Battle of Ankara, Timur ordered Maria, the wife of Sultan Bayezid, to serve and dance while completely naked. In 1402, after a fierce battle against Timur, Sultan Bayezid I was captured. This defeat marked the beginning of a series of painful events for the Sultan. His wife Maria, a Serbian concubine, was taken as a captive by Timur. During Timur's celebration of his victory, a grand festival was held in a large square adorned with flags and lights, amidst an atmosphere filled with the noise of soldiers and the joy of triumph. Timur sat on his throne, surrounded by his relatives and army leaders, ready to revel in his overwhelming victory. At this celebration, Maria, the wife of Bayezid I, was brought to the arena in simple clothing, surrounded by looks of disdain. Timur, with his harsh gaze and mocking smile, sought to humiliate her and her imprisoned husband. He ordered Maria to strip off her clothes and serve the guests completely naked. The moment was terrifying and extremely humiliating. Maria stood in the center of the arena, bare and embarrassed, carrying dishes of food and drinks to the guests, while everyone's mocking gazes followed her. Sultan Bayezid watched from his nearby iron cage, bound and tormented by psychological pain more than physical suffering. He saw his beloved wife being humiliated and degraded before his eyes, and he could do nothing to save her. That moment was the hardest he had ever faced in his life, becoming a lasting stain on his brow that he could never forget. Despite her humiliation, Maria carried a look of courage and determination in her eyes. She knew that Timur was trying to crush her spirit and that of her husband, but she refused to show any weakness. She moved among the guests, steadily carrying the dishes, even as tears filled her eyes. As the celebration continued, Bayezid's suffering intensified until he could bear no more. That night marked a tragic end to a love story and a tale of bravery, as Bayezid could not endure seeing his beloved humiliated in such a manner. Shortly after the celebration, Bayezid I passed away, leaving behind a story of sorrow and lost dignity. This story had a significant impact on the Ottoman sultans, who decided to avoid official marriages to prevent such humiliation in the future. This custom continued for several generations, as the sultans relied on concubines to bear children instead of entering official marriages. The concubines in the Ottoman palaces were used to produce as many offspring as possible to strengthen the state and the Ottoman lineage. The palace's internal system favored concubines who bore male children over those who had daughters. This preference was clearly reflected in their status and treatment within the palace. Over time, as circumstances and situations changed, Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent decided to break this tradition. Sultan Suleiman deeply loved the Ukrainian concubine Roxolana and married her officially, defying the customs of the sultans who preceded him. This marriage marked a significant turning point in the history of the Ottoman palace, and the official marriage to concubines became an accepted and sometimes followed practice, partially restoring balance and respect for the official wife in the lives of Ottoman sultans.